Hello, Seasons of Hustle Bootcamp Day 17. So we're continuing our talk on how to put things in order. And tonight we're going to talk about tools outside of our workspace and the virtual office. We're going to talk about apps and other things to help organize the back end of your business, and tools to help you maybe get some more income producing activities in some different ways that you maybe not be utilizing yet. So we're going to look at an app called Oily Tools first. Oily Tools is a paid app that you download, and there is a monthly fee to use it. But the one thing I do love about these apps that do have, you can either pay like a yearly fee and save, or you can pay it monthly, is those are tax deductible deductions because they are something that helps you run your business. So when you look at the big scope of things and what we actually have to invest in our business, it's actually a really great value to do those things once you get to a certain level if they're going to be helpful for you. So what I like about Oily Tools is Oily Tools actually is the only app that estimates your commission check. So this is really good because if you're getting close to a rank, you can actually change the rank on Oily Tools and you can see the jump. So if you're a senior star and you're trying to get to silver, you can change that drop down box to kind of see what that would do to your paycheck. So sometimes that's how I help estimate how much money I'm going to invest on an incentive for my team, or how much I'm going to spend on certain things. So that's kind of how I determine sometimes part of my budget is by looking at some of those stats on Oily Tools. Now, the commission estimator also is really great to get your spouses involved because they can download the same app on their phone, use your login, and they can actually see that. So I find that most of the men are motivated by the dollar signs, where us women were motivated by the products, we're motivated by the life change, we're motivated by the education, all of those things, and helping people. Men are more on, okay, let me see how this is actually helping our family. So it's a really great thing to add to your husband's phone. Once he gets his own account, then he can log into his own on Oily Tools as well, because you can use him as part of your business. And we'll talk about that tomorrow in some of tomorrow's topics. But Oily Tools was created by Jake Dempsey, and then it was actually, I don't know if it was bought out or how that happened, but Young Living now controls Oily Tools. So it's actually information that's brought in through your virtual office to that app. Now, what I also love about this app is it gives you alerts. So I have all my alerts turned on. It will alert me when products come back in stock. It's going to alert me when somebody enrolls in Essential Rewards. It's going to alert me when somebody enrolls on my team. It's going to tell me if there's a first-time enroller. So I love getting all those notifications, and it kind of keeps me up to date with what's going on. And I can check things that way by getting those alerts. So those are really helpful if you're wanting to communicate with your team and to be able to celebrate them in the moment, kind of quick when it happens, instead of trying to go in your virtual office and figure out, okay, who enrolled so-and-so, and this person's new, and what date are they new, those type of things. So you can actually use this in combination with another app, Project Broadcast, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So what the other thing that I really love about this app, and I believe this is the only app that this information is on, is they do have what's called a money misser report. And so you can pull that during the last part of the month. Like I usually do it between the last 8 and 10 days, and you can see if there's anybody in your downline who hasn't ordered enough PV to earn their commission check. So that can be really helpful. You can reach out to them, help them estimate what their potential paycheck would be. Sometimes they're just a few PV away from earning their commission, because not everybody understands the commission structure, or that they even did something to earn a commission check. So I've had people call me before and be like, hey, I got this check from Young Living. Is this a mistake? And it's like, no, you shared Young Living with somebody, you know, that's yours. And they're like, wow, this is an awful lot. So it's just ways that you can help your team by educating them on different things. The other option with this app that is super helpful is you can gift a month free of this app to someone if they've never used it before. So if you have somebody, that's getting close to a rank and they kind of want to see some of that information before they invest in the app themselves, it's a great thing to be able to say, hey, I can gift you a month of this app and you can check it out, and then they can decide at that point if they want to continue it or not. One of the other apps that I absolutely love, I discovered this in 2018. My upline had shared it with me, and it is one of my favorite apps. I am in this app by far more than any other app on my phone for my business, and that is Oily Trends. So this was created by Tracy Black Nielsen and Trevor Nielsen. I believe they are Crown Diamonds and Young Living. But Oily Trends has so many reports and stats. So Oily Tools, you can only see the current month and the previous month. With Oily Trends, when you log in and you pay for the service, that is something that it downloads all of your data. So I can go back from day one of my Young Living history, and I can look at my ER percentage for every month. I can look how many new members, how many people on my team were actually enrolling. So the number of enrollers. I mean, I can look at so many stats and reports. I can even look at my OGV by day, things like that. So I love all the data that's in this app, because I used to try and track all of that stuff on my own, and sometimes I'd be really good at it, and some days I would miss days, and then I'd be like, oh, I missed days. It's all there for me. So you can actually download that, look at different reports. Some of the reports that can be income producing activities for you, though, is they have a lot of things that I haven't seen on other apps. So we just recently got a Help 5 tracker for yourself. In your dashboard, you'll see your points for Help 5, but you can actually see your entire team's points for Help 5 in this app, which is super helpful because you can help cheer people on. You can do weekly updates with your people. Some people don't realize they're getting points towards Help 5, so you can reach out to them and say, hey, you got 3 points already, and it's only the 8th of the month. I'm super excited. Here's the promo for Help 5 this month. Would you like me to help you earn the other 2 points, or help, what can I do to help you? If that's something that you want to do. So that's a great way. There's an Elite Express report. So you can see who on your team is eligible for Elite Express, and you can help them with that. You can see who your top enrollers are. You can see who your first time enrollers are. You can see who's joined ER, which I think is super helpful, because I've always wondered, like, okay, yeah, it shows our ER percentages up, but who actually joined Essential Rewards? So you can actually do that, and you can send those messages. Congratulations, thanks for joining Essential Rewards. I'm so proud of you for making this step in your wellness journey. Here's some suggestions for your first 3 months of orders, and tell them your favorite things. There's also 2 reports about rank. So there's one that's close to rank, like a new rank, and then there's close to re-rank. So if somebody has hit senior star and then they fell below, and they had been star for a few months and they're getting close back to senior star, they're going to show up on that report, and you can cheer them on, and you can help them if you see that they're going for those goals. There's also a report called ER drop off, so you can see who's come off Essential Rewards and how many months they've been off Essential Rewards. So I think this is a great report to reach out to those people, not to be pushy and say, I need you to get back on Essential Rewards, but to use that as a valuable tool for you to investigate why maybe they got off Essential Rewards. So you can be like, hey, I noticed that you recently got off Essential Rewards. I'm always trying to help educate myself and learn what I can do better. So can you tell me what helped you decide to come off of Essential Rewards? Because I would like to know where I can educate and what I can do better. And so then you will find out if there is a pattern in why people are coming off Essential Rewards, if it's some kind of life circumstance that they had, and maybe you can help them because maybe they couldn't afford it. And then maybe you can say, well, did you know you can earn that for free if you share Young Living with a few friends? Would you like to host a class and just see how that goes? So there's just a lot of different things that can come from talking to those people and finding out the why behind it, but being true in your intention of wanting to know why and not being pushy of trying to get them back on. I also like the report that is reactivation. So if you've had somebody reactivate on your team, that shows as well. So I really like to message those people and thank them for reactivating, and whatever that caused them to go inactive, we want to make sure that doesn't happen again. So we want to be sure we're building that relationship with them, building that community, supporting their needs. So you can see if you dig into the reports, and this isn't all that's available on there, but if you dig into these reports and these stats, you can see where your team needs support. You can see how better to celebrate people. So it's just really gonna propel momentum in your team if you're consistent with being in there. So mark a block of time once a week to go into this information and see how you can utilize it in your business and base some of your IPA activities off of that information. It can be super, super helpful. Okay, the next thing that I'm gonna talk to you about is an app called Quip, Quip. We talk about this in the book as well. Now, Quip has been one of my absolute favorite ways to collaborate. So it is a free app. You can use it on the computer or you can use it on your phone, an iPad, something like that. But basically, it is set up where you can create folders and you can create documents inside those folders. So let's just say I'm working on Seasons of Hustle Bootcamp. So I have Seasons of Hustle in a folder, and then I have a folder inside that folder that's Seasons of Hustle Bootcamp. And so I gave my husband access to that because he's been helping with some of the notes, and like he'll reread them for me to make sure I'm not missing anything, and he's been kind of cheering me on in the background. So we share that file. So he has access to that. So if he was to add a note, it actually tells me over to the side what he added. And we could actually both be on that document at the same time typing, and we would see what each other is typing and adds it to it in that moment. So this has been really beneficial to collaborate with different teams of people at one time. So the announcement that we have for you guys that's super, super exciting on the last day boot camp, okay, that's been a collaborative effort, and that's been done through Quip. So I know you guys are always so excited to find out what that is because I'm really excited to share it with you. I'm not telling you to the last day, but it's awesome. Without Quip, that couldn't have been made possible. So you can add certain people to certain things. So it's just been a way for me to really organize things and be able to give access to different things without having to reinvent the wheel. So if I've already got something done and I'm talking to somebody in one of my mentorships, I'm like, hey, I have a project broadcast file that has this information that what you're asking for. I can just add that to you. If you download the app, I can add you to that file and you'll have access to it for however many days I want to give them access. So it's just a really, really great way to share information. And I love that the information that you type out or that you correct is kind of kept in a history so you don't ever lose that information. You can also create checklists, spreadsheets, you can create slideshows, you can create so many things, and they're all the time coming out with new things in Quip that you can do. We use it for our family budgeting. I mean, I use it for absolutely everything. So I am in love with it. It's free. I can have it with me anywhere that I go. So that definitely is one of my favorite organizational tools that I use not only for my business, but for my life. Okay, another tool that I want to talk to you guys about is Zoom. Okay, so I remember back in the day when I first started this thing, hopping on Zoom calls, I was like, this is really scary. There's all these videos of people, they can see me. But that's how I built relationships with people. And I'll never forget, like at my first convention, people come up to me and they already knew me because they were on Zoom calls with me and things like that. And so it's really a way to build relationship face to face, even when you're not in the same area. So we all want to have teams that are growing all over the world, right? I have team members in 6 different countries right now. So obviously I can't be in those 6 countries traveling all the time. So Zoom is a way that we can come together and I can talk on a certain subject or train, whatever it is that we're setting that call up for. And everybody can join via that link, and that's how you access it. You can record it, post the recordings later, or you can not record it. I love the freedom of it not being recorded because I feel like I'm more free to say what I want to say. So it's a great way to educate your team. Being consistent with that, having a Zoom call with your team, once every other week or once a month somehow is a really great way to just build that consistency and relationships with your team. So there is, you can use Zoom for free up to a certain number of people on at one time, and then at that point you have to pay for the service. But you should be able to use the free version until you are silver and above, and then at that point you kind of need some tax deductible expenses. So it is something that I have found super beneficial. You will see a lot of diamonds and up using that to train their teams as well. And like I say, we want to act like we're diamonds, right? So if diamonds use Zoom, then we need to be using Zoom. We need to teach our teams how to use it. We need them to be familiar with it. So when our diamonds, crowns, and royals offer things through Zoom, they can hop on that and be comfortable. So it's a way too. I've noticed that the more people are on Zoom and in those little videos, the more comfortable they get to potentially doing Facebook Lives and different things like that later on. So that is a great tool to get your team collaborating together. And we have done rallies that way. We have done business trainings that way. We've done product education that way. I've done special needs classes that way. So it's just a really, really great way to connect with your team. Okay, now this next thing that I'm going to talk to you about is probably my favorite communication for my team, for my life, period. And I was really reluctant to it at first. So remember, when I say things are scary, do them anyway. So this app is called Marco Polo. I don't know how many of you have heard of Marco Polo, but let me tell you, it is the best thing that's going to happen to your business if you're not using it in your business yet. Because it's like a video walkie-talkie. So we're going to pretend I have my phone in my hand here, and it's going to have a little start button, and I'm going to hit start, and I'm going to say, hey Sally, how are you? I heard you had a question about so-and-so, so here's that answer. Okay, thanks, talk to you later. Click, and it recorded that video. And so she gets a notification on her phone that says I was on Marco Polo, and she has a message. So she can listen to it live, or she can listen to it when she has time later. And then she can respond via video. So for me, with my hearing loss, I can see people's lips, which is amazing. All my mentorships are done through Marco Polo. So you're building that connection and building that relationship with people because you're actually seeing each other instead of typing it out on text or messenger. There is such a key component to face-to-face interaction because things can be taken so wrong in text form. You could say something that's super simple that you do not mean to be negative at all. And if that person is having a bad day on the receiving end, they can take it as a short, snide comment, and that's totally not how it was intended. So Marco Polo is changed the face of relationship building. So I encourage you, if you want to hop on Marco Polo and test it out with me, you're more than welcome to Marco Polo me. You will need my cell phone number to do that. That is 812-595-2127. You'll just have to add me to a contact on your phone, download the app, and then you'll see me on there. You'll be able to search me. So it is just something that I can't explain, like the interaction that people get. And it's like you're not a stranger. You know, when you're building relationships with people who are joining your team that you don't really know a ton and you're learning more about them, they get to see you in your real life. They get to see, like I answer Marco Polos in the bed every morning before I get out of the bed and get ready. So my team sees the real me. They see that I'm not always put together. I don't have all the answers. I don't know all the things. My life is a hot mess too. It's the Hot Mess Express over here, you know? And so people need to see that vulnerability. They need to see the raw, real you. And so when you get really comfortable in Marco Polo, Marco Polo from the bathroom, the bathtub, whatever, in your PJs, no makeup, it just happens, okay? It's just part of the Marco Polo lifestyle when you've done it for a while. So you also can collaborate in groups as well. So if you're trying to train 3 or 5 people on the same thing, you can put them in a small Marco Polo group. I have a group of leaders that there's two or three of us that really make a lot of decisions together. So we have a Marco Polo group for that, where we'll go in there if there's something that we need to talk about collaboratively. You heard me talking about the Pod Squad the other day when we were talking about collaboration and crossline. We talk on Marco Polo every day. And so we can go through, catch up on those messages. And the great thing about those messages is that they're always there. So you can go back. If I was showing somebody how to put an oil in a capsule, they can go back and replay that video, which is super nice. Okay, we're going to talk about one other tool for your business, and then we're going to hop off and we're going to finish the rest of this chapter tomorrow. So Project Broadcast is a texting service. Now, Project Broadcast is one of those working smarter and not harder apps, because you can create campaigns. So you can do like a new member orientation, and you can set up what you would want to send your new members. So, hey, so-and-so, and you can actually input their name without actually having to type their name. Like, it will import it for you if you do it off a report. My name is Tara Smith. I'm one of your Platinum Upline leaders. I am part of your support team. Wanted to welcome you to our Oily family. I'm going to be sending you a walkthrough of your starter kit over the next 14 days. Hope you enjoy, just something super simple. And then you can send one text a day for 14 days, and then let that help do your follow-up. So check in at day 30, 60, 90, 180, and like 270 and 3 something. So set those things up where it's doing your follow-up for you. If you meet somebody and you use some of those if I will use statements, can I check in with you next week? Okay, go ahead and set up a Project Broadcast next Friday right then that says, hey, checking in, I gave you such and such item and I was wanting to see what you thought of it. So you can schedule that to happen for you, so you don't have to remember or don't have to write it on the calendar. You can just do it immediately right then. So there's a Project Broadcast group that teaches you how to use it, all the different ways to use it. We're starting to put Project Broadcast bundle codes, which is means we've created a campaign for you. And if you download that, then you can use that and send that out to your members. So we are actually uploading right now. We have 52 weekly tips. So it's a year full of tips to send out to your team once a week. And that's set up and that's available on our website right now for you to use. And that is a free item that we have uploaded for you guys. So we are going to share different campaigns and stuff that we have here through Seasons of Hustle that we think would be good for the masses. So Project Broadcast is something to really look into. I did use texting service before Project Broadcast existed, and it was so expensive. But let me tell you, Project Broadcast is so not. It is so affordable, and your credits roll over. So if you're thinking, well, even the lowest thing, I don't know if I'll use that many text messages a month. Guess what? Go ahead and roll those over and bank those, because as you get to be a bigger team, you're going to have that in your bucket of messages to use, and so you won't have to upgrade for a while, which is super nice. And you want to learn these things before you have a desperate need for them. So learn it, get good with it, learn to love it, learn it for it to be part of your routine, so you are using it to its full advantage by the time your team is bigger. Because it's harder to learn these things when you have a big team and you're trying to do all the things. Like, I wish I would have known about some of this stuff in the beginning, and then I would have started this from the beginning. I think it really would have changed the face of the communication for my business, and it would really have decreased my work hours. So yes, there may be a little bit of a learning curve, but it is so worth it. So Project Broadcast is something I definitely would recommend. You can, there's so many options with Project Broadcast that you can do. You can use it for vendor events. And if they text the keyword that you have set up, then they get a sample from you. And that way you have their information and you can follow up with them. That whole group of people you can send a text to, and it sends individually to each person to check in with them after the event. Prospects that you meet, future Young Living members that you meet in the grocery store, you can text them your business card through Project Broadcast. So there's just so many ways to utilize it. The possibilities are endless, and I love that there's the support groups online as well. Okay, so that is it for tonight. Tomorrow we are actually going to hop into the rest of this chapter. So this chapter has taken us 3 days because there's so much meat and potatoes in it. So be sure that you have read chapter 10. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about strategy, growth in specific legs, who has some legs that we need to grow. We're going to talk about starting a leg, and then we're also going to talk about maintaining rank. So tomorrow's going to be some really good content for you guys if you are trying to grow and trying to get those legs going and trying to hit rank and maintain it. So I will see you guys tomorrow for day 18.